It's a fair exchange, fair exchange, fair exchange. Yo, know me as the guy with the game plan, shoot with the tie and the Ray-Bans.
Hello everyone, welcome to Crypto Download. In today's video, we're going to cover and share our thoughts on Bakkt Bitcoin Futures going live, Bitcoin hash rate having a flash crash, Ethereum gas limit shows more centralization than Bitcoin, EOS has its first hard fork, and Binance US is officially open for trading. Let's get into it. Up first, Bakkt Bitcoin Futures are live. The first Bakkt Bitcoin future trade was executed at 8:02 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday at a price of $10,115. Bill, what's your take on this? How is the market reacting to Bakkt Bitcoin Futures launch?
Mainstream media, which is telling us that the reason Bitcoin has gone down 25% is because the futures contract was a disappointment, is completely ridiculous. I was around when they would launch futures contracts in pits with humans, and they'd start out with 10 or 20 people. Everyone would look at it and go, God, why are they doing that? Futures contracts start out slow. Now, on the flip side, somebody big out there may have thought or had been hoping for a euphoric rally off Bakkt because they needed to sell, okay? Emphasis on needed to. A miner to stay alive, who knows? But what I do know is as soon as this Bakkt news came out and it was kind of a non-event, somebody big started selling. And to me, that's the real news. That's the real thing you should be focused on, is that somebody big dropped the hammer. And it's being led right now by Bitcoin Cash, which makes me think it might be a huge miner out of Asia. Again, that's just a theory. Ian, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a big hammer. I mean, there was definitely lots of bloodshed in the streets. And I think this kind of is well known in crypto, always sell the news, right? Most traders and investors in crypto are always selling the news. And this could have been that as well, right? This could have been a whale or a fund or maybe miners, as you said, looking to sell the news. And it seems they definitely dropped the entire market, and now we have blood in the streets. And this actually takes us to our next point. Bitcoin hash rate also has a flash crash. Bill, what's your take on the Bitcoin hash rate?
All right, well, I listened, we had a meeting yesterday and listened to my colleague talk about the hash rate, how it went down and came back up again. His take was that, maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. I'll let him go into the details. Okay. Let's put it this way. If the Bitcoin hash rate falling out of bed for one day is not a big deal, and this is just some sort of temporary selling panic, then any type of bottom in Bitcoin near 7,400 could be, please understand me, could be a long-term buying opportunity. So net, if the hash rate falling is not a big deal, and this is just some big panic, Bitcoin's creating a long-term buying opportunity once the panic's over. Back to you.
All right, Saurabh?
Yeah, so I'll get into a little bit of technicals of how hash rate is calculated and how it is perceived. So as of now, there is no perfect way for us to measure hash rate of the entire Bitcoin system. I mean, we can't instantaneously know, the number of miners that are plugged into the system or they have removed their miners and so on. It's just a measure of, it's the hash rate that is displayed is, it's just a measure that X number of, the desired number of blocks have been mined on a particular day. So number of blocks mined on a given day and the current difficulty level, this is how various websites arrive at hash rate. When hash rate was dropped by around 35 to 40% on, I think, September 22nd, there were a lot of theories that some miners, some big miner in China has shut down their machine and so on and so forth. But it could simply be an anomaly. If you look at the number of blocks produced on that particular day, you will see that the number of blocks has dropped on the day when the hash rate was also dropped. So it could simply be the case that you expect 144 blocks to be mined on a given day, and those were not mined on that day. It's as simple as that. Now, why this could happen? So Bitcoin block finding on Bitcoin blockchain is a Poisson distribution. it means that the expected time of finding the current block is not dependent on the previous block's time. It is always 10 minutes. So if one block is found in 2 minutes, it doesn't mean that the next block will also be found in 2 minutes. The expected time is always 10 minutes. At times it's lesser, at times it's more, but that doesn't mean that, miners have switched off their machine and so forth. So as long as the hash rate comes back up soon after it drops, everything is fine. And as we can see from the chart, the hash rate is back up. So I don't think fundamentally there's any reason to worry.
Thank you, Saurabh. I think that kind of makes us really have to look more into miners because it seems they can really affect the price of Bitcoin, right? Okay, so up next, Ethereum gas limit shows more centralization than Bitcoin. Saurabh, what's going on here?
Yeah, so I mean, we all remember what happened in 2017 when there were two groups in Bitcoin community. One wanted to increase the block size to accommodate more transactions, and one wanted to have layer 2 scaling solutions to scale the Bitcoin blockchain. They fought, they debated, they went back and forth, and one community which did not agree with the other, they split. Everyone in the community sort of knew that this is happening, and they had time to weigh in on any of their opinions and provide reasoning for the same. If you look at Ethereum's average gas limit, now what is a gas limit? Bitcoin and Ethereum approach the block size in a different manner. Bitcoin has a limit to block size. Ethereum limits the block size by having a limit on the gas used for a particular block. Every computation on Ethereum blockchain uses some gas. So they have said that X amount of gas is permissible for a particular block. In the last few days, if you look at the chart, this limit was quietly increased by around 25%. They took a poll among the miners. 50% of the miners said yes, they wanted to increase the gas limit, and it was increased. It was as simple as that. So currently, if you are following Ethereum, there is an ongoing debate on POW, which is changing the mining algorithm to something which is more suitable for GPU miners than ASIC miners. Basically, creating the algorithm to be more ASIC resistant so that bigger miners don't have a say in what happens to Ethereum platform, right? But then on the contrary, quietly increasing gas limit is not a sign of decentralization. I mean, there is a stark difference between how governance is conducted. I think this is one of the examples as to why people keep saying that Bitcoin is more decentralized than Ethereum.
Okay, EOS, the 7th largest cryptocurrency by market cap, performed its first hard fork this week. According to the website, this is the largest upgrade that the network has seen so far, and the first one that required a hard fork. Sam, what's your take on this?
Yeah, so it is the biggest update in the network so far. So Dan Larimer basically just said they needed to do this in order to launch this new app that they have called Voice by Block One. It's not going to be like a hard fork like Bitcoin where they change to Bitcoin Cash. There's not going to be a new token created that will divide the community. It's basically what's happening is just 15 of the 21 EOS validators agreed that they'll just continue the largest chain. Hard fork is going to allow users to interact with the blockchain more cheap and with more functionality. It's really always exciting to see these projects make these big upgrades, as it shows the blockchains are all making big strides to become the decentralized internet, and the rate of innovation happening in the blockchain space is really exciting. So one of the features that they were talking about was the ability for dApps to pay for system resources for their users. So basically that will allow possibilities for mass adoption. It allows dApps to create a free frictionless UX or UI UX for the users. So users don't have to spend money to interact with the dApps. This will help Block One's Voice social network. Voice is basically just a social networking site where you can earn by making posts. It's kind of like Steam, and Block One has tons of money, and we can really expect this dApp to gain a lot of users. So what did you think about it, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, as a person who was the early investor in EOS, I think it's definitely good to kind of see them making advancements in the technology. I don't hold EOS tokens anymore. I definitely left that ship a long time ago. But I'm very disappointed though in the progression, right? Because there is $1 billion. So I think the standards we have for them were a lot higher than what they've done so far, right? And I know lots of people in the community have complained that it's very centralized because they only have, I believe, 21 block producers. And even last time, I think when they had some kind of security issue or hack, they're able to solve that in a centralized fashion, right? So I'm not really a big fan of hard forks, but I do understand that they're required to really progress the blockchain forward. Otherwise, it'll just be stale. All right, so last but not least, Binance is in the news again. Binance US is officially now open for trading. CZ said on Twitter, they had a small deployment glitch in the beginning, but it's now fixed. Sam, what's your take on Binance launch? I mean, have you used Binance US?
I haven't used it yet, but we've been talking about this for the last 2 weeks. It just opened for trading on the 24th, so I guess I'll probably open my account soon. We know the reason they launched is because US was banned from trading like 6 months ago. So now we can finally trade in the US without using VPNs. So Catherine Colley, she was an ex-exec for Ripple, and she was the person, she's now the CEO of Binance US. And she said that 13 states aren't supported. So I didn't see DC in there, or Washington or Maryland. So you can trade, and I didn't see Massachusetts, so I can trade. So it's basically just has the same UI as Binance International. They have Cardano, Basic Attention Token, Stellar, 0x, and the other top 5 tokens. And they have 0 trading fees, which is cool. And then another notable thing is they didn't have the Binance stablecoin linked to USD. So I wonder if they believe that that is a security. And then also they have a referral link. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about the referral link, but basically it's a $15 referral link, and anyone who refers gets $15. You just have to trade $100 in trading volume and do the fiat account verification. And then you get $15 into your Binance account, which is really cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So we'll drop all the links down in the video. Be sure to check that out. Now the race is on, right? As mentioned last week, now the race is on for the US market. Binance, Coinbase are really going at it. Right now, I don't have an incentive, me personally, to join Binance. Coinbase and Gemini they do the job for me, right? Unless some all-star Hall of Fame token gets listed on Binance US, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon because Binance US has a lot more stringent requirements than Binance Global. Because Gemini, to me, I can withdraw without really any withdrawal limits, right? So, and that's really the big thing, right, for larger investors. I'm not sure what the limit is on Binance for fiat withdrawals, but if it's unlimited, then maybe I'll have an incentive. Now, I did see that today they're on the fiat pair. They had over $500,000 worth of trading volume. So not bad for an initial start, right? So let's see where the growth takes it after that. All right, team, let us know what you think about this week's news in the comments below. From Binance to EOS to Ethereum and Bitcoin and Bakkt Futures. And be sure to subscribe and share this with your friends.
Steve and Dave use eToro to invest in the financial markets. Steve does research on global investment opportunities. Dave does research on how to become a level 60 wizard. Steve follows the feed for the latest market news. Dave follows the feed for the latest cat videos. Steve has a watch list for promising investments. Dave has a watch list too. So why is Dave just as good an investor as Steve? It's because Dave used eToro's copy trader to automatically replicate Steve's trading activity. Whenever Steve makes a trade, Dave does too.
Yes.
Trade like a Steve with eToro, the world's leading social trading platform.
Yeah, know me as the guy with the